After 7 months of waiting, it's finally here. The new Apple Home... Wait a minute. The new Apple HomePod. Wow, it comes in a box. Build quality, as one better expect from a friggin' $350 speaker, is fantastic, and it's up to Apple's normal standards. The outside is this nice squishy foamy base, which looks modern but cozy at the same time. The bottom of the speaker is covered in a nice rubber foot, which prevents it from moving around on a table. The top is covered in this, unfortunately not Gorilla Glass, but what seems as plastic, touch-sensitive top. And the space gray model is already getting tons of fingerprints on it. I bet the white model is much better in that regard. And around back, you have a very nice looking braided power cable, but, and this is a big problem I already have with it, it's hardwired. So you're not going to be able to remove this. You better hope you don't bend it or break it at the part. You better hope you don't have a dog chewing through the cable, because if you do, that's it. There's also no I/O, which I'll talk about in a minute. That's a big problem I have with HomePod. And I will comment on the size. This thing is tiny. People don't realize how small it is. I mean, it is really, really, really small, which is kind of cool. But does it sound any good? Well, let's get it set up and find out. Okay, so I've turned it on. We've got this spinning little white LED. That's a good indicator. And let's see what happens. Still waiting. Still wait. Oh! That's a nice little sound. It glows on the top. That looks cool. So I'm guessing that means it's ready to set up. So let's pull out my phone here. And yeah, there you go. It says HomePod. And I can press set up. I'm going to click my office. Yes, enable personal requests so I can see my text messages, calendar, to-do list, etc. Terms and conditions. Yes, I will give all of my organs to Apple. And transfer my account for Wi-Fi settings, all that other stuff automatically. I like that. And that's it. Ooh. Isn't that fancy? Setting up. Okay, that's enough. Sounds like a train station. It's still setting up. This is taking a while, probably a couple minutes. Oh, we're done.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Hello.
Welcome to HomePod.
Thank you.
You can't tell, but I'm waving. To get my attention,
okay.
Say, "Hey Siri."
Hey Siri.
Let's try it. Say, "Hey
Susan."
What can you do?
Hey Salami. I know you don't do a lot, but what can you do?
I can do lots of things, like turn on the lights, give you a news update, and tell you about the weather.
All right, fine, you caught me. I didn't just unbox this and set this up for the first time. I've been using this all day, for hours, and I've already formulated some pretty strong opinions about it. And I'll talk about the sound quality in a minute, don't worry, we'll get there. But I want to talk about its biggest weak point, in my mind, right now, day one, and that's Siri, which quite simply is not up to snuff. Siri is not good. I know people talk crap on Siri all the time, and Apple fans are like, she's really not that bad. No, she is. She sucks. Compared to Google Assistant and even the Amazon Echo, Siri is pretty miserable. Let me demonstrate that by using the following example. Alyssa, how much does the Apple HomePod weigh?
Apple HomePod weighs 5.5 pounds.
Hey Selma, how much does the Apple HomePod weigh?
Apple.com should be able to help you with that.
Okay, let's talk about the sound quality. This is like my 9th take, so I'm very sweaty. Some of the initial reviews of HomePod made me very suspicious because they talked about the sound quality like, oh my gosh, this sounds incredible. It's reinvented the way I will listen to music. It feels like I'm at the orchestra. No, it doesn't. It sounds good, very good for a small speaker this size, and it gets very loud, but it still sounds like a small speaker. And there are certain genres that this thing does a really good job with. Bass-heavy stuff is exceptional. All of the speakers are downward firing, and so you've got this really nice bassy feel that vibrates your table. And it does a really, really, really good job. So anything that has a lot of bass, you know, R&B, rap, hip-hop, is going to sound pretty remarkable on this speaker, and it gets very loud. Now, the frequency response is very much of a V shape, so you've got a lot of bass, and then you've also got a lot of treble. So stuff that doesn't have a lot going on, so vocal tracks, orchestra, jazz, those also sound really, really excellent. Everything in the middle, where you've got a full dynamic range, like the Rolling Stones, did not sound good on HomePod. And that's just because you're using every bit, the mids are very repressed. So guitars and a lot of instruments and vocals sound pushed down and washed out by the bass and the high end, like the cymbals and the drums. And it's a bit of a bummer. So yeah, HomePod actually sounds pretty good. I mean, that is for a speaker this size, but you can't escape physics. The simple reality is that a speaker with larger displacement is going to sound better. For example, these Event 2020 studio monitors are fantastic speakers. You can get a pair of them and a Chromecast audio for only about $50 more than the HomePod, and they absolutely clobber the HomePod. Like, it is not even close. They sound way better, but they're also huge. And so HomePod, for its size, sounds pretty good. Now, does it sound $150 better than the Sonos Play 1? Heck no. In fact, the Sonos Play 3 also clobbers this speaker, and it's still $50 cheaper than the Apple HomePod. Now, I would be willing to let that slide because it's built well and it is so tiny and you've got the Apple tax. But then I think for a second and I think, no. Do you know what? No. Because it has so many other really, really huge shortcomings. I mean, I can't mince words. The reality is that Siri is now years behind other voice assistants. And for a product whose entire existence is based around voice interactivity, that's a problem. And Apple knows it's a problem because they've been saying, oh, well, you know, we've been working on HomePod since 2011, and it was never intended to be a competitor to Google Home or to Amazon Echo. It's a different product. But it's not, because the people looking at HomePod are the people looking at Amazon Echo and Google Home. And the simple fact of the matter is that while this device does have better sound quality, more people will appreciate the far better assistance than they will the marginally better sound. The other problem is that this thing is so constrained to services because you're so jam-packed into Apple's ecosystem. Now, I get it. This is bought by Apple people that probably have Apple Music, but it's still an issue. Okay, Apple, so if HomePod is a Sonos competitor, let's compare the supported services. Apple Music, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play Music, SiriusXM, SoundCloud, Deezer, TuneIn, Tidal, Napster, iHeartRadio, NTS, 7 Digital, AccuRadio, Bandcamp, Dash, Apple Music, Radio Disney, Slacker, Stitch. So that's it, Apple Music. You're locked in. Now, a lot of people said, oh, well, you can use Spotify, but that's not really genuine because, yes, technically you could use Spotify or any other app on your iPhone using AirPlay, but AirPlay is basically just glorified Bluetooth. You cannot use HomePod for voice control on Spotify other than next track, previous track, play, pause. That's not voice control. And the irony is, guess what is getting Siri support with Spotify? Sonos. So in less than a month, when the update comes out, you will be able to say to your phone, hey phone, play this song on Spotify on the Sonos, and your Sonos will play Spotify and you'll enable it by using Siri, which is just hilarious. All right, I've only got one more problem with the HomePod, and that is device longevity. Speaker cones, generally speaking, last for a very, very long time, decades. In fact, they are a very reliable technology, including the amplifiers inside of said speakers. So powered monitors, powered speakers, they last forever. And consequently, most powered speakers, including, ironically, the 2006 Apple iPod Hi-Fi, have an analog or auxiliary input. So they allow you to plug in different sources so that in 10, 20, 30 years, when the iPod doesn't fit in the dock anymore or there's new technology, the speaker system still works. HomePod doesn't have that. Literally, when Apple decides, okay, we're done supporting this HomePod, this thing is a brick. It will not work. It will do nothing. It's a problem. In fact, it doesn't even have Bluetooth. It does have Bluetooth, but you cannot play Bluetooth audio. So there is no feasible way, if Apple decides to kill the HomePod or to kill Hey Siri, for this thing to even work. And that is a real issue in my mind. This is a long video. Now look, there's a certain type of person out there for who the HomePod is perfect. Someone who is completely involved in the Apple world and doesn't mind paying a premium and maybe lives in a small space where they need a good sounding speaker in a really tiny package. And for that type of person, it's not a bad option. But for the rest of us who either have a little more room or who want more wide open services or want to be able to use their product, you know, in 5 years when this thing gets discontinued, I think you should be careful and consider some of your other options. I know I will. I'm Quinn of Snazzy Labs. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you didn't, well, that other button seems to work okay too. Get subscribed for more awesome videos like these. Check out some of them here. But most importantly, and as always, stay snazzy. There is a type of person out there. Shut up.